Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to his confounder Acharya Divine Srila Prabhupada, all glories to his Sri Guru and Gaurangas. So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, once again, we welcome you to Hare Krishna Africa platform on this very first day of the year 2026, according to Englishman's calendar. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. So, it's a great privilege to have you speak with us today on Srimad Bhagavatam. So, I'll be putting the verse on the screen and then we can start.
Just let me know.
Yeah, you can start, Prabhu. You can start with the mango prayer. I'm putting the verse on the screen.
Well, I'll offer the invocations to Vedavyas and Narnarayan Rishi and other great personalities. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskricha Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Sarasvatim Vyasa Tatorjayam Udirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhideshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, dear Prabhus, we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 15. Am I right?
Yes, Prabhu, you're very, very right.
And text number 5. Yeah.
So that's number 15. Am I the one making it wrong? 3:15:15, Prabhu.
3:15:5?
3:15:15. Canto 3, chapter 15, text number 15.
You're breaking up. Okay, text number 15. Oh, somehow
Yeah.
I got. Okay, no problem. Okay. So let us chant. The chapter is entitled Description of the Kingdom of God. So, Yatra Chadya Pumanaste Bhagavan Shabdagochara Sattvam Vishtabhya Virajam Swanam No Mridayan Rishaha Yatra Chadya Pumanaste Bhagavan Shabdagochara Sattvam Vishtabhya Virajam Swanam No Mridayan Rishaha. Transliteration. Yatra in the Vaikuntha planets. Cha and Adya original. Puman person. Aste is there. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shabda Gochara, understood through the Vedic literature. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Vrishtabhya, accepting. Virajam, uncontaminated. Swanam, of his own associates. Naha, us. Mridayan, increasing happiness. Vrishaha, the personification of religious principles. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
In the Vaikuntha planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood through the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. I'll read it one more time. In the Vaikuntha planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood through the Vedic literatures. He is full of the contaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees. Purport. The kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual sky cannot be understood by any process other than hearing from the description of the Vedas. No one can go see it. In this material world also, one who is unable to pay to go to a far distant place by motorized conveyances can only understand about that place from authentic books. Similarly, the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky are beyond the material sky. The modern scientists who are trying to travel in space are having difficulty going even to the nearest planet, the moon, to say nothing of the highest planets within the universe. There's no possibility that they can go beyond the material sky, enter the spiritual sky, and see for themselves the spiritual planets Vaikuntha. Therefore, the kingdom of God in the spiritual sky can be understood only through the authentic descriptions of the Vedas and the Puranas. In the material world, there are three modes of material nature, qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Within the spiritual world, there is no trace of the mode of passion and ignorance. There's only the mode of goodness, which is uncontaminated by any tinge of ignorance or passion. In the material world, even if a person is completely in goodness, he is sometimes subject to be polluted by tinges of the modes of ignorance and passion. But in the Vaikuntha world, the spiritual sky, only the mode of goodness in its pure form exists. The Lord and his devotees reside in the Vaikuntha planets, and they are of the same transcendental quality, namely Shuddha Sattva, the mode of pure goodness. The Vaikuntha planets are very dear to the Vaishnavas, and for the progressive march of the Vaishnavas towards the kingdom of God, the Lord himself helps his devotees. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gina Gina Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Gina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Dear devotees of Africa, I'm very honored to have your association and hear and chant with you the glories of the Lord from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, which Tadvad Visargo Janataga Viplavo, this Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasmin Pratishlokam Avatavati Api. Although there may be some grammatical faults, Namanyanasta Kuto Kitaniya Shinvanti Gayanti Gvinanti Sadava, because it is spoken by the great devotees of the Lord who have been given direction by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. It creates a revolution in the hearts of the world's misdirected civilization. So I see behind Prabhu a nice picture of my dear godbrother, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, who is a transcendental personality, the Black Lotus, as he's called. Wonderful, empowered devotee of Srila, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who is spreading his words in many of his books. So that is the quality of advanced devotees, is that they can transform the lives and create a revolution within the hearts of this world misguided civilization. So we know that Ekapad Vibhuti, that this material world is 1/4 the entire creation of God. Tripada Vibhuti, like most of the Lord's creation is, the Vaikunthas, and of course the whirl of the lotus flower of the Vaikuntha planets is the Goloka Vrindavan. So the various sampradayas, Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, and Brahma Sampradaya, out of these four, Varnashram, the three other ones, other than Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, they focus on the Vaikuntha planets and Varnashram and so on. But when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India, he came and met the Tattvavadis in Udupi. And they were saying, if you follow Varnashram properly and strictly, you can get Sarupya Mukti, Sarishti Mukti, Salokya Mukti, the 5 different types of Mukti. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discarded that. He rejected that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us that whatever situation we're in, we can yomam pashati sarvasya sarvam chamai pashati. That whenever situation you're in, the material world, the spiritual world, it doesn't matter to devotees. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Rahoituki Tvai. I simply want your pure devotional service without any motive, without any interruption. I want your pure devotional service. So therefore, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is known as Vadanyaya Avatar. Although he, of course, is Krishna himself, coming from Goloka Vrindavan. And with him, he's bringing this process for Kali Yuga, Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana, coming from this spiritual world. He's giving this wonderful, powerful holy name, which is non-different from himself. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. That in your holy name, there's thousands and millions of holy names, but these holy names are full of Shakti, full of potency, and there's no hard and fast rule for chanting them. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu is therefore Vadanyaya Avatar. He's the most munificent because he's not giving us a very difficult process. Krite Yad Dhyayato Vishnu. In Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga, we know that Kardama Muni was meditating for 10,000 years. Dhruva Maharaj was meditating in cold water and heat of the sun in the summer for 10,000 years in the Vrindavan area, Madhuvan. Kritaya Dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam, Yajanamakai, and in Treta Yuga, people would perform sacrifices. But Prabhupada said now there's a shortage of ghee and all these required grains and so on. And therefore, Dwapara Yuga Paricharyayam, temple worship was introduced. Kalir Yadari Kirtanat, Kalir Tat Yadari Kirtanat. So in Kali Yuga, we're being given this process simply by chanting and being involved in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. We can actually come to realize the spiritual world and go to the spiritual world. Sagunam sanatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna tells Arjuna in the chapter on the modes of nature, chapter 14, mam chiyo vyabhicharanina bhakti yogena sevate. So this bhakti yoga, which is being given to us by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They're actually explaining this in their Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipano Sadharma Samstapako. They scrutinizedly studied all the Puranas, Upanishads, the Vedic 4 Vedas, and they gave us the conclusion. In fact, Rupa Goswami is very famous for giving us the ultimate understanding, the ultimate plateau, pure love of God in ecstasy, prema bhakti. He's giving us how to love God in wherever you are, Narayana Parasarvena Kutaschana Bibhiti, Svarga Pavarga Narakechu, Apitulyartha Parchada. Whether you're in heaven or hell, we don't care. As long as we can engage in the fire of devotional service. Travanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Bandhanam, Sakyam Atmani Vedanam. The 9 processes of devotional service are being given to us by our great acharyas, and they're giving us the details of how we can overcome the modes of nature. The mode of passion and ignorance are not present in the spiritual world. And by associating with Krishna and rejecting the association of non-devotees, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in his Bhakti Loka, he elaborates on the verses by Rupa Goswami. And he's saying that we have to avoid the association of people who are attached to sense gratification. This is the mode of passion. The mode of passion is characterized Lobha Pravitim Aramba Karmana Ashama Spriya. Spriya means unlimited material desires. Rajasastu Phalam Dukam. From these material desires, we suffer misery, Dukam. So in this chapter, the 14th chapter, Krishna is telling Arjuna that this mode of passion has to be given up. What to speak of the mode of ignorance? Agyana tamasa, that in the mode of ignorance, one becomes very foolish. Pramato agyana tamasa. Pramada means madness. The people are becoming mad day by day by associating with the lower modes of nature. And why? Because they're addicted to sense gratification. Because why? Because they're identifying Icha Dvesha Samutena Dvandva Mohena Bharata. Samoham Sarvabhutani. That all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. Mode of passion, desire and then frustration. So the entire world is moving on this lower modes of nature, and therefore they, in their own foolish ways, like Ravana tried to build a staircase to heaven. He wanted to go to higher planets, try to build this. By their own foolish inventions, they're trying to go to higher planets. Not possible. Prabhupada is describing here the martyr scientists who are trying to travel in space are having difficulty going even to the nearest planet. In the 5th canto, it describes that the moon planet is 94.36 million miles away from the Earth planet. And Prabhupada used to say Sunday and then Monday, moon, sun, moon, like this. So these foolish rascals are wasting so much money and so much energy, human energy, on these futile attempts to go to higher planets and try to explore the world and the universe. But that's not how you can do that. When Dhruva Maharaj was in the Vaikuntha airplane, and he got his mother also, she's his Vartmana Pradarshika Guru, as they were traveling back to the Vaikuntha planets, they could see all the various planetary systems. And that is given in the various Vedas, the heavenly planets, the sub-heavenly planets, extending down to Dhruvaloka, and then below Dhruvaloka you have the middle planets, Bhumandala, and then below the Bhumandala you have the Patalas, Atalas, Vitalas, the lower planet, and there also you have the Yamaloka, and then below that, of course, half the universe is full of Garbo ocean. So this construction of the universe or cosmology, this is one tiny mustard seed. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haridas Thakur says to Lord Chaitanya, it's a bucket full of mustard seeds. Yasya Prabhu Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shua Shesha Vashidari Vibhuti Binam. That all these planets that are emanating from Karanadakshay Vishnu's pores in his skin, he's lying in the causal ocean. And all these planets are like tiny little capsules and they're expanding. And in each planet, there are trillions of living entities. There's millions of Lord Brahmas and Lord Shivas and Lord Indras and Vayus. So many demigods in each universe. And we happen to find ourselves in one tiny little universe. And Lord Brahma, of course, he is born from the navel lotus. He's known as Atmabhu. He has one parent, Atmabhu, Lord Garbhadakshay Vishnu. And he comes to realize he's sitting on this lotus flower, and then Tene Brahma Hridaya Adhikavaye, the Lord reveals from within his heart that he has to perform great tapasya for thousands of years and create the different species of, generate the different species of life. So Brahma went to visit Krishna in Dwarka, and the doorkeeper said, "Which Brahma?" Krishna said, "Which Brahma?" Don't he know I'm forehead? I'm the Brahma. I'm Brahma. And then Krishna manifested millions, Brahmas with 1,000,000 heads, Brahmas with 100,000 heads, like this. So Yad Yad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam Srimad Ursham Evava Tatad Eva Bhagacha Tvam Mamo Tejamsa Sambhava. When Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna on Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago, all different living beings, higher beings, apsaras, kinnaras, gandharvas, all types of beings, yakshas, all types of beings were manifested from Krishna. Different types of celestial beings, lower planetary, serpent-like beings, all kinds of beings. And he said, this is just a spark of my splendor. All these great creations that you see is simply a spark of my splendor. So here we're hearing about the Vaikuntha planets, the spiritual world. Karmana Sukritasyahu Satvikam Nirmalam Phalam. So if we associate with devotees of the Lord and avoid the association of people who are trying to merge with Krishna's his Brahma Jyoti, people who are fruitive actors, karma yoga, karma kandis, performing religious activities to get some kind of sense gratification. Karma sangeshu jayate. They die in a mode of passion, they take birth in fruitive families. No, we reject that. We want to associate with the pure devotees of the Lord. Naishamati stava durukur mangrim spishasana atarkano yadacha. Mahiya sampada rajobhishekam. We have to bathe in the dust coming from the lotus feet of Niskinchana Navriti, one who is Niskinchana. Zero desires. What does that mean? Because Kapila warns in the 29th chapter of 3rd canto, he warns that sometimes a devotee is in the mode of passion. Yasho Vishai Abhisandasya Yasho Aishvaryam Evava. It means that a devotee in a mode of passion, he's still attached to gratifying his senses selfishly. Binadrik means he's a separatist because his interests are separate from the desires of the Lord. He still wants to compete with the Lord as the enjoyer. And Yasho means false fame. He still wants some fame, name and fame. So even in devotional service and Aishvarya, Yasho Aishvarya Evava, Aishvarya, he wants to enjoy some material opulence. I'm a devotee, but I want to have a very cushy lifestyle. I want very opulent foods. I want nice kashipu, nice pillows to lie on, and some material possessions. Atyahara payashascha. Atyahara means overeating or overcollecting material things. So Kapila Dev warns in the 29th chapter, these certain devotees, although they're practicing devotional service, the anartas are remaining within their hearts. And Bhakti Devi won't go there. Bhakti Devi will not enter into the heart of a devotee who has these obstacles in his heart. This is also described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakti Siddhanta is quoted. Prabhupada quotes him that within the heart there's so many little weeds growing, and the devotee is chanting fervently Hare Krishna every day. But the Shravanam Kirtanam is watering the weeds of anartas. So in devotional service, we have to avoid the association of those who may still have some attraction to persons who are after sense enjoyment, or women. He may be attracted to materialistic women, not devotee women, but materialistic women. Sri Asatsangatyag e Vaishnavacha. Sri Sangu Ekashadu Krishna Bhakta Ar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying here, Sri Sangi, don't associate with men who are very attached and very fond of associating for sense enjoyment with the opposite sex. It's described that this is the core force used by Maya. This is her weapon. In her arsenal, she has many weapons, but the most powerful weapon is the Strisangi, association for sense pleasure, sex life. Maitunya Agara, shackles of sex life, described in the Padma Purana. So, devotee of the Lord has to be very careful to control his mind and his senses and come to the platform of Vishuddha Sattva. And how do you do that? You have to associate with Krishna favorably, and you have to see how to please Krishna's senses. Sarvapadi vinimuktam tatparadmina nirmalam rishikena sevanam bhaktir. That Rupa Goswami describes that a devotee may be thinking, still, I'm a sannyasi, I'm a brahmachari, I'm a grihasta, I'm this, I'm that. This is the mode of passion, identifying with the mode of passion. And he may therefore, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes that because one is the mode of passion, even in devotional service, then things like envy come up. He becomes envious of others, matsarya, because that person has a better position in the assembly of devotees. I don't like him. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur warns, then what happens is prajalpaniya magraha. Different types of prajalpa. One type is criticizing devotees. Blaspheming devotees is very, very dangerous. We see what happened to Daksha. He actually lost his head. He was criticizing Lord Shiva. Oh, he has eyes of a monkey. He lives in a crematorium. All his followers are bhutas and hobgoblins and so on, and he's criticizing. And he ultimately, when his daughter committed sati, suicide, Lord Shiva created a demon and went there and cut his head off. He was so angry. So the point is, of course, we know Ambarish Maharaj was also offended by Durvasa Muni, who is actually a powerful sage, an expansion of Lord Shiva. And Sudarshan Chakra was chasing him throughout not only the material universe, but the Vaikuntha planets as well. And he's trying to get away. He got very angry and created a huge demon to kill Maharaj Ambarish because he took some water. After fasting for a whole year, he took some water, and Durvasa Muni's false ego was so offended. So when Durvasa Muni went to Lord Narayan in the spiritual world, Sudarshan Chakra was chasing to kill him. And Lord Narayan said, I can't help you. The only way you can neutralize the sin of offending a great devotee is to go and take shelter of his lotus feet. That's the only way. Even God himself couldn't, neutralize the sinful reaction of Vaishnava aparad, sadhu ninda. And so he had to go back and offer his respects and obeisances and beg forgiveness, as we know from Maharaj Ambarish, who was so gracious. Devotees of the Lord are very gracious, very merciful. Advaishta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha. Advaishta, non-envious of any living being, not just of devotees, but non-envious of any living being. Sarva bhutanam maitra karuna. Maitra is friend to all living beings. Devotee, Prabhupada used to say, a devotee won't even kill an ant. Not even an ant devotee wants to hurt. Harisari was trying to kill a mosquito in Vrindavan. He was serving Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, you can't hit him, you can't kill him until he bites. Once he bites, he's an aggressor. Prabhupada was so merciful. Great devotees are very, very, very merciful because they're completely transcendental. Sadvikam nirmalam phalam, that they become free from all kinds of anxieties, all kinds of, the mind is completely fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. The perfection of life is always remember Krishna and never forget the Lord. His rupa, his nam, his name, his rupa, his guna, and his lila. Within the holy name of the Lord, it's described by Haridas Thakur and quoted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Harinam Chintamani, that the nam of the Lord contains the rupa, the lila, and the guna of the Lord. So Krishna, his name contains, as the fountainhead of his beautiful form, his wonderful transcendental pastimes, and his wonderful qualities. Krishna has very amazing qualities, which is attractive to all living beings. So in the Vaikuntha planets, of course, it's described that the inhabitants of Vaikuntha are always glorifying the Lord. And there is no presence of passion or ignorance. That is the domain of modes of passion and ignorance, which are conducted by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma is the master of the mode of passion. And Lord Shiva is the master of the mode of ignorance. And of course, Daivi Shagunamai Mama Maya Diratyaya Mamevi Prapadinte Ayameva Tarantite. Lord Shiva's wife, she has a trident with 3 prongs, Sattva, Raja, Tama. And she's holding down the foolish living being who is struggling within this material world to try to enjoy life separate from Krishna, godlessness. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yad indriya pritaya aprinoti. Prahlad Maharshi said that people are mad after sense gratification, preaching like this. Pramada, pramado moha tamasa, pramada, madness, mad, after trying to enjoy. Why? Pritak vena tuyajganam, nana bhavam pritak vinam, veti sarve shubhuteshu, tadganam rajasam smritam. In the mode of passion, one identifies as this material body, male, female, black, white, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jew, whatever. One is thinking like this constantly, and this is the mode of passion. What speak of the mode of ignorance? Devotees of the Lord, sarva bhuteshu yenaikam. So in the spiritual world, everyone is seen as a spiritual being, and everyone is seen as the servant of Lord Krishna. This is where our pleasure lies. Saganan samatityaitan brahma boyaya kalpate. When we transcend these modes and in the spiritual consciousness, in the spiritual world, always glorifying the Lord, katyam cha chamam nityam, tushanti cha ramanti cha, always experiencing satisfaction and pleasure by glorifying Krishna 24 hours a day. That's what's going on in the Vaikuntha planets. Therefore, even though the males are very handsome, the women are very beautiful in the Vaikuntha planets, there's no question of selfish sense gratification. They're all centered on Lord Narayan and Lakshmi. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us an even higher concept, the love between Radha and Krishna. This is called, without any Aishvarya, without any awe and veneration, there's no conception that Krishna is God in the Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna is herding the cows. He is herding cows through the forest, different forests of Vrindavan. He's surrounded by wonderful, beautiful milkmaids called gopis. And they're just attracted to this Kishori. Krishna is always youthful. He always looks Navayovanam, always youthful. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachit Ananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. The supreme controller of everything, the causeless cause of all causes, and he's playing on his flute. Everywhere in Goloka Vrindavan, you're hearing Krishna's flute. And Prabhupada Goswami describes that the flute playing of Krishna penetrates the covering of our universe, strikes the Gandharvas with wonder. The Gandharvas are gifted with amazing musical talents. Causes Lord Shesh, who's holding up all the universes, to become dizzy, breaks the impersonal meditation of the four Kumars, and captivates the interest, captivates the mind of Bali Maharaj, who is living in the Patalas, in the lower planets. So this flute playing of Krishna is all ubiquitous. It's all heard all the time in Goloka Vrindavan. And it's a great pleasure. And it's summoning the gopis to come and have pastimes with him in the mood of Madhurya Ras. And the cowherd boys, they're playing with Krishna. They're jumping on his shoulders. They're playing football with him in the spiritual world. All these activities are going on. Time is conspicuous by its absence. Walking is dancing and talking is singing. And everyone can hear the wonderful flute playing of Krishna. Murli Krishna. Krishna, the great flute player, the great musician. So this is the spiritual world. These are descriptions of the kingdom of God. And the goal of our human life, dharmasya hi apavargasya. Apavarga. Freedom from pa, fa, ba, pa, and ma. There's 5 words here given by Rupa Goswami, and also in the 7th canto. Parabhavas tavada bodhajato. People work really hard. They work hard. And then finila, Vanilla means just like the horse is pulling big loads of these foaming. Foam is coming from the mouth. So people are working every day to get more sense pleasure, more material properties, more this and that, over endeavoring and foaming at the mouth. And barhishmata means disappointment. Everyone's working from their children, and then their children go up and they just rebel against their parents, or they disappoint their parents. And the father spent his whole life investing money for his education and taking care and paying the mortgage and taking the school and buying everything like this, feeding, all this stuff, surrounded by fallible soldiers, wife and children. And then Ishmata becomes so disappointed. Prabhupada said in many cases, he knew of in Calcutta of a man who was very wealthy, and his son became like a rickshaw driver, and a social reprobate in the society. So disappointment. And then Bhaya. Bhaya means faring. Prahlad Maharaj, he meets an avaduta lying in the forest. And he said, why are you lying in the forest? Why don't you, And you seem to be a great, great saintly person. So the avaduta is preaching to Prahlad. Pashami daninam klesham. Lubdanam ajitat manaha. Bhaya alabda nidranam. Sarvato Pashami Sarvato Bibhishankanam. It means that I see the Dani, the wealthy man, is full of klesha, is full of miseries. Bhaya alabdanijanam. He can't even get proper sleep at night because he's worried the government's going to take my money away. Someone's going to come and break into my house and steal my money. Oh, my children, they were always demanding this, that, and the other. Oh, my wife, she has to go shopping every day. So in this way, the avaduta is telling Prahlad, Bhaya alabda nidranam, out of this faring for his money, just like in the forest of material enjoyment, Jadabharat is telling that although a person is trying to protect this flock of sheep, the foxes and the wolves come and attack and steal the sheep. So the sheep, the metaphor is the sheep is his money, and his wife and children are always taking like this. So even the people he thinks, oh, my wife, my children, they're also taking. So Bhaya alabda nidranam. Nidranam, he can't sleep at night. He suffers from insomnia. Sarvato Vivishankinam, and he's looking in all directions. Who's next? Who's going to exploit me? Who wants my money? I have so much money in the bank. Like this. So Dharmasya I apavargasya, and ultimately pa, fa, ba, and ma, mritu, death comes. And the person is lying there, surrounded by his relatives and friends. The old man is lying there, he can't really speak. His throat is choked up with mucus and so on, and the Yamadutas visit him at the time of death. Ahani bhutani gachantiya yamalayam. All living beings, all human beings have to go to the court of Yamaraj, unless one has the holy name on his tongue. Ayur harati vaipum sam udyanastan chayamase tasyate yachanonita uttama shloka. Uttama shloka vartaya. One who is always glorifying the Lord. Uttama shloka. Lord Krishna, who is glorified by wonderful poetry, by wonderful descriptions, then he is not influenced by Ayu Harati Vaipumsam, by the rising and setting of the sun. Not a day is wasted when one's chanting the holy names of the Lord. So in the spiritual world, there's none of these pavargas, no pavarga, apavarga. Narto taya pakalpate. They don't care. And the devotee of the Lord in the material world also, he is fully satisfied. So he's not over-endeavoring. Atihara prayashas. Prayashas means over-endeavoring for things, mundane acquirements that are very difficult to get. No. Devotee simply performs his duty. Lord Chaitanya told Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shantipur, the place of Advaita Acharya. And Lord Chaitanya was trying to go to Vrindavan, but when he met the Goswamis, Rupa and Sanatan, for the first time he met them, and they were big ministers in the government of Hussein Shah, and they were advising Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you're being followed by hundreds and thousands of people. This isn't really the best way to go to Vrindavan. And he met Raghunath Das Goswami, and Raghunath Das was really, he'd heard throughout his youth about the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Haridas Thakur and other devotees. They were always telling about the greatness and wonderful qualities of the Lord. So he was trying to run away and go to Puri. Every day he would try to run away, and his father had so many guards, 5 guards, and servants and cooks surrounding him. So they would catch him and drag him back. And Lord Chaitanya told him, externally act like a pounds and shillings man, but internally you simply serve the Lord. Do your duties externally, but internally serve the Lord, and Krishna will arrange for you to take his shelter, ultimate shelter. Raghunath Das, we know, his father was extremely wealthy. He was collecting so many hundreds and thousands of gold coins for the government and keeping so many. He was keeping 1,500,000 gold coins, collecting from the areas. They were zamindars, or great landowners, very wealthy, like the king of, they say, like the king of heaven, Raghunath Das. And his wife, the father and mother, got him the most beautiful girl they could find with all the wonderful qualities. Still, he wanted to go to Lord Chaitanya. So externally, we're engaging in our service, right? Yasya Hare Dasya Karmana Manasagira Ikilashva Puvasta Sujivan Mukta Suyuchite. We're engaging in our service, whatever our guna and karma is, according to our qualities and work. We're doing this, that, or the other in our lives. But internally, we're always remembering the Lord, always trying to serve the Lord, always practicing yukta vairagya, using everything in the service of the Lord without being attached, that everything is for the pleasure of Krishna. So that is the Vaikuntha Patis. That is the condition of the spiritual world. And in the material world, those who are influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance are described by Lord Krishna in the 16th chapter as demoniac. They're demoniac because in the mode of ignorance, one really doesn't care about pleasing God, or he doesn't believe in God, or if he does believe in a higher power or God, he's actually not following properly. Just like there's so many religions that are, they look like religions, but the Avadhuta is describing that these are irreligious activities. It may go against the rules and regulations of Dharma. They may say many so-called religions like Advaitism, God is just, Brahma Jyoti, is just energy. There's no personal God. Or the monists, the Buddhists, there's no God. And so, although it seems like religion, it's called Dharma Bhado Vidharmasya Paradharma Nachodita Upadharma Tupakando, or people make up their own religion, word jugglery. Oh no, this is what Jesus means. This is what Muhammad means. This is why, Moses means is that we can kill animals and eat them, no problem. It means thou shalt not kill means just humans, things like this. So these are convoluted ideas. But the real religion is Dharma Projita Kaitravotra Paramoni Matsaranam Satam. It's transcendental to these modes of material nature, passion and ignorance. In the Vaikuntha planets, devotees are completely absorbed in the transcendental plateau, completely absorbed in simply glorifying the Lord and deriving great pleasure from glorifying the Lord. Machita madgata prana bodhiyantas parasparam. Katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. And that is what people are trying to find. They're trying to find happiness. But this is the formula. We have to take shelter of a bona fide acharya, bona fide spiritual master, bona fide devotee of the Lord, not the devotees who are influenced by passion and ignorance. Those devotees have to become free from these anartas. Adoshada tata sadhu sangha tata anarta nivriti syat. So we have to be careful that we want to cultivate the mode of goodness and become free from subtle material desires or gross material desires. Otherwise, we won't come to the stage of ruchi. There are 4 stages in sadhana bhakti. The first is shraddha. So we have shraddha, then we become fixed in our shravanam kirtanam. That is nishta. And then after that, we get a taste for the holy name. So we become enthused, internally inspired to get up early and chant the holy names every day. Ruchi. And then asakti. Asakti means attachment. We become attached to Krishna through his holy name. These are the 4 stages of sadhana bhakti. And then that's a preliminary stage. Asakti is preliminary stage to getting to another stage called Raganuga Bhakti. So in sadhana bhakti, there's Vedi, and Vedi means prescription. There's prescription and there's prohibition, 2 things. So prescription, we're doing the positives. Prohibition, we're avoiding the negatives. And then when we finish with, come to the stage of Ashakti, or attachment, constant attachment to chanting Krishna's names, then that's a different stage, Raga Bhakti, which is also contained in the sadhana. 2nd stage, so Vedi Bhakti and then Raga Bhakti, described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And there's so many different pitfalls on this path. There's so many, we have to be very attentive, very, very attentive to what's going on with our mind and senses, so that we can come to a stage of Shakti, and then furthermore going into more spontaneous devotional service. So thank you very much, Prabhus. I will stop here.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Once again, my respectful obeisances. Thank you very much for the wonderful rendition of Krishna consciousness philosophy based on Srila Prabhupada's books. It is said that it is the nature of those who are Vaishnavas that they glorify other devotees. And teaching us that from the very beginning of the lecture, identifying and recognizing the presence of your God brother, this is a very instructive approach to all of us to follow in the footsteps. It is said that Vaishnavas are acharya by nature, they teach by example. So this example of yours gives us a lot of courage that Srila Prabhupada is still with us in his disciples. We're very grateful for having you. Yeah, so dear devotees, yeah, so dear devotees, we've had a very powerful class given by Prabhu. So if anyone has a question or comment or contribution, please do not hesitate to raise your hand physically or by using the hand emoji on the screen, and we'll call you to speak. Okay, we have Amsadita Prabhu. And Amsadita Prabhu, please kindly raise your hand. Please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Grace, please can you accept my respectful obeisances? All glories to God, Guru Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, and all glories to wonderful assembled devotees. Thank you for the class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Please, my question is Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikuntha, which one is the highest? And is Krishna reside in both of them, or Vishnu reside in one of them and Krishna reside in another one? And at the same time, all the universes has its own Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan, or there's only one Goloka Vrindavan and one Vaikuntha? This is my humble question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your question. It's a very good one. Therefore, Prabhupada supplied us the Brahma Samhita, which was commentated by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And in the Brahma Samhita, it's a chapter 5 of the Brahma Samhita. It describes the Goloka planets, Vaikuntha planets, are form the petals of the lotus flower of the spiritual world. And there's thousands and millions, probably untold amounts of Vaikuntha planets where the Vaikuntha Padis have 4 arms. They have the same features as Lord Narayan. They have the same opulence as Lord Narayan. They live on the same planet as Lord Narayan, and they get his association. So those are the 4 types of qualities of liberation in the Vaikuntha planets. Now, in the world of the lotus flower, if you read the Brahma Samhita, hopefully there's a copy available there. It describes that the world of the lotus flower is in itself larger than all the petals around this world. And that is Goloka Vrindavan. Go means cow, the land of cows, basically. And the Lord, he doesn't really, he appreciates that everyone knows he's God. In Vaikuntha, everyone knows, oh, Lord Narayan and Lakshmi Narayan, God and female energy of God, okay? But Krishna wants that pure river of pure loving bhakti without any tarnish of fair on veneration. Oh, no. Krishna wants his devotee to feel protective of him. So he has Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and their whole mood of Vatsalya Ras or parental love is absent in the Vaikuntha planets. But it's so full of pure love and affection, ecstatic love and affection for Krishna as a little boy who needs to be fed and taken care of. Therefore, it's far superior to in Vaikuntha where everyone's, oh, Lord Narayan, you're so great. You really don't need me to protect you. You're the supreme protector. So that's different. That's described by the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. And Lord Chaitanya is revealing this to us, that in the world of the lotus flower, Goloka Vrindavan, the gopis are tasting, Krishna wants to taste this ras, the Adi ras, this conjugal love. And not only that, but parakiya ras means lawless conjugal love. And there's no tarnish of sin. There's no tarnish of selfishness. It's the original, as Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, pure sexual ecstasy between the gopis and Krishna, Madhurya Ras. And Madhu means honey. So it's the sweetest of all the relationships. And then, of course, there's Vatsalya, Shakiras, where Krishna wants his cowherd friends to play with him like a little boy in the forest, and they do wrestling. They do wrestling. They, all kinds of, little boys. That's what they like to do. So that's far superior because the love is devoid of any tinge of Aishvarya, of awe and veneration. Not a tinge. That compromises one's pure love. If I know my father is the most powerful person in the universe, I don't. I never could be concerned about his safety or his well-being, right? But Madhushoda is so concerned about Krishna going out in the forest, and the sun is going to burn his skin like this. So yes, that's all described in the Brahma Samhita. Around the 40th verse, there's descriptions in that area of the nature of Goloka Vrindavan beyond the Vaikuntha planets. So I hope you have access to the Brahma Samhita there.
Yes, it's in I think I can have it in a database.
Yeah, of course, yes. Of course. You can get it on Veda.
I see 543 here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you very much, Prabhu, for the beautiful answer. And thank you very much, Amsadutta Prabhu, for that deep question.
Thank you.
And that actually leads me to a question that I was hoping to ask while we're still waiting for devotees to raise a question. In the purport of the text that we're reading today, Srila Prabhupada describes something very astounding in the purport. Prabhupada, when he was talking about and I'll put that on the screen for us to see, Srila Prabhupada was describing how to understand the spiritual sky. So Srila Prabhupada says there is no possibility that he's talking about the materialist scientists. Mm-hmm. There's no possibility that they can know the material sky or enter the spiritual sky and see them for themselves, the spiritual planet Vaikuntha. Therefore, the kingdom of God in the spiritual sky can be understood only through the authentic descriptions of the Vedas and Puranas. So when we read this statement like this, one starts to wonder, how do we understand the descriptions of kingdom of God by other traditions who also try to speak about the same kingdom of God, but are speaking from different background, and they have a different understanding. So somehow it start looking as if there is a different kingdom of God. So how do you respond to this, Prabhu?
Bhakti describes that there are the Malecha scriptures. Those would be Judaism, Christianity, and of course, Islam. And those descriptions were trying to raise people up from, don't commit adultery, don't, thou shalt not kill. These are like very pious types of expositions being given by these prophets.
It's still on.
But the Srimad Bhagavatam, as described in the first canto, Dharma Projita Kaitravotra Paramoni Matsaranam, completely rejecting all materially motivated religions. This Srimad Bhagavatam separates illusion from reality for the benefit of all, given by the great sage Veda Vyas. So this is transcendental. This is even transcendental to various religions. The other question is the parampara in other religions, has it been broken? Have they misinterpreted the pure teachings of the prophet, this prophet, that prophet? There's been so much, this is called Shabdabich Chala in the 7th canto. Shabdabich means word jugglery. And the tendency for the living being is to convolute the clear explanation of scripture. And therefore, Krishna tells us in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that he has to come again and again to reintroduce pure dharma beyond material motivations, beyond fruitive desires. So when they describe the spiritual world, sometimes they describe the heaven, the spiritual world. You want to go to heaven, I'll see you in heaven. But there's no clear description of these, whether it's the spiritual or the heavenly planets, where there are so many angels and apsaras and gandharvas and kinnaras. The heavenly planets is quite elaborate, and there are beings there with various kinds of perfections, musical perfection, siddha loka, all the mystical powers, anima, lagima, and so on. So this is far more elaborate than whatever we've been exposed to in what is Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains the Malecha scriptures. And then who is actually following? I personally, although was brought up in a Malecha culture, religion, Christianity, I could see that it was very hypocritical. And even you can say even in Hinduism, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also exposes people dressed in saffron and so-called devotees of Lord Chaitanya, but they're sahaja or apasampradayis, and they simply want to vishayi, enjoy their senses. They dress in saffron, keep women, and this is called by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Marakata Vairagya. They're going around collecting donations in Vrindavan, but they keep women secretly. And monkeys, just like Prabhupada said, monkeys in the forest. They don't wear clothes. They live in the forest. They look like, vairagis, but they have so many female monkeys that they want to enjoy with. So even in Hinduism, there's so much convolution and misdirection. The impersonalists, the Advaitas, Lord Shiva came as Sankaracharya and gave this kind of atheistic philosophy out of the Vedas. So the Vaikuntha plan is being described by Vedavyasa and Sukadeva Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually like the rising sun, dissipating all the darkness, even of materialistic religions, which is described in the 7th canto, I believe it's maybe the 15th chapter, where he's describing 5 kinds of irreligion that look like religion, but are not really dharma. They're not pleasing to the Lord. It's not enough to say, I believe in God and I'm going to heaven. And hopefully, gradually, the Srimad Bhagavatam will cover the entire globe, and people will get the transparent, crystal clear description of the Vaikuntha planets. And then within our world, there are 14 planetary systems, starting from Brahmaloka and Svargaloka and so on, down to the hellish lower planets systems. That there's no information in the Bible like that, or Quran and so on. But it's still it's described as pious actions They just, they give guidance to people for proper behavior and so on and so forth. Yeah, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the light to dissipate the darkness in the age of Kali. Transcendental literatures, literary incarnation of God. That is what the Bhagavatam is.
Thank you very much for the beautiful answer and the references from the scriptures. So I'm just sharing with the devotees the 7th canto, 15th chapter verse we're talking about. Actually, is the 13th verse and the 14th verse. This subject has been treated. Thank you so much. It's talking about pretentious religious system.
Right.
Thank you very much for the bit. Yes, thank you. Dear devotees, yes, please kindly unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada, thank you so much.
Oh, Sahadev.
Hare
I hope, I'm praying for your
Thank you so
quick
much.
recovery.
I need your prayers. Yes.
Yeah.
We are very
concerned.
grateful. We are very grateful to have you beginning the year with us.
Mm-hmm.
It may be superstition, it may be inactuality, but it is believed that whatever you begin with is how you're going to end. So we're very grateful to the Lord to have given us the opportunity to have you beginning the year with us. And hopefully, the year is going to be auspicious for us. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sahadev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I have this question. Srila Prabhupada was giving lots of descriptions in his purport. Like if you do not know a particular place, you can only learn of it from books. So I've heard so much about Italy. I've heard so much about ancient Rome. I haven't been there before, but because I've heard, I have the desire to visit the place. I have the desire to visit the Taj Mahal. So lots of people, they go on vacation, especially in the Western world. They go on vacation because they've heard of certain places which are so beautiful and they want to visit the place. So here we are as Vaishnava devotees. We've heard so much about the spiritual world. Very amazing place. Like you made reference to Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma gives wonderful description of the Vaikuntha planets and Goloka Vrindavan. But I'm wondering why that is the case, that devotees are not eager to visit this place. And we're not eager because Srila Prabhupada was saying that if you have your money, then you can buy your ticket to visit the places you want to visit. And in our case, our money to buying our ticket is our devotional service. So sometimes we may even have the desire to visit, but the money is our devotional service. And luckily for us, we have somebody there who is ready to host us in the person of Srila Prabhupada. But my wonder, what bewilders me is, like myself too, the eagerness to work hard to earn the money that has become more serious in our devotional service, to be able to go back home. It's not there. And why that is the case?
It's a very important point you're making, Prabhu, because being in the movement for a long time, the tendency is to become complacent or despondent, one or the other, after 20 or 30 years of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And we start losing our deep appreciation of the holy name. And Haridas Thakur tells Lord Chaitanya, quoted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinam Chintamani, that the root of all the other 9 offenses, the root cause of those offenses is inattentive chanting. Or you can say, chanting without appreciation, that is, Krishna's there dancing on my tongue, Krishna's on my tongue. God himself is allowing us to chant his holy name. So, sadhu sangha, very important. And sadhu sangha means that when we come together, we discuss the wonderful pastimes or instruct something. We can inquire from others, dadati pratigrinati goyang ashti prachati. But with association, especially during the Brahma Muhurta hour, if it's possible to associate with devotees, it's called the morning program. If not in the evening, but we must come together. It's very important. This sadhu sangha is Goshti, describing the Lord's and the process of devotional service. And chanting in association with devotees or japa, try to chant with great attentiveness and avoid the pitfalls of socializing during japa class and so on. This will strengthen our inner enthusiasm, our lola shamai, our greed. Lola shamai, greed to attain the ultimate goal, which is at least attachment to the holy name. Some taste is there. We're enthused by the holy name by chanting in association with devotees. Samutkanta, eagerness, become eager for the perfectional stage, which is described by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, which keeps us focused. What's our goal? Is our goal to get a lot of books out? Is our goal to, open more temples? One time Prabhupada said, we have so many temples, let's boil the milk. The devotees who have joined have to become very, very spiritualized, very, very like condensed milk. We want to boil it down so it's condensed. So we really, really, really appreciate Krishna, really appreciate the deity form of the Lord in the temple. We really appreciate Prasad, and we appreciate the association of devotees. And we want to associate with them with great eagerness and with great respect and avoid. How is that? Well, try to avoid the 10 offenses. And the emphasis, as quoted by Srila Prabhupada in many places, is the 3rd verse of Lord Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. Trinada Pisanichena, Torori Vasa Hishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. To always remain very, very humble and very tolerant while chanting the holy names of the Lord. So this will give us enrichment in our spiritual life. And what compromises is when we involve in atyahara prayashascha prajalpaniyamagra. If we start getting too involved, Prabhupada said, yeah, you can look at the front page of the newspaper. That's it. Don't get submerged in all the nonsense topics of the mundane world, which is going on forever. So we have to avoid these kind of things. Nowadays, the internet is very seductive. But what it's doing, you're pouring water on the fire of your bhakti. All these kinds of things over endeavoring. Oh, I wish I had more of this or that, or maybe I should play this or that, make some business, you know. I've seen devotees take money, try to make a business, get totally, you know, these things compromises. It like is you're pouring water on the fire of devotional service. So we have to be very careful. Even my people who I greatly respect, God brothers, and after 40, 50 years of devotional service, they fall down. Very, very sad, very, very tragic. The people give their lives, become devotees, give their lives to Srila Prabhupada, but because of inattention or something, they weaken, and then boom. Maya is very, very powerful. So let us be very, very attentive and diligent against the attacks of Maya.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I like it.
Prabhuji, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty much sure that you probably do not realize the depth of your, specifically the answer to my question, and to the larger part of your delivery today in what's going on in the Worcester service in West Africa. If somebody is listening to you closely, that individual might think that somebody has mentioned some things to you. But here you are, you have no clue of what's going on there. But somehow, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada spoke through you. And all I want to say is that, especially devotees who are on here, should try and digest what you've shared with us. And we try to learn from what Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna is trying to tell us. And if someone should watch this video later on, or if someone is watching this live and knows what's going on in West Africa, it's surprising because for the past, I would say 1 week or so, we've had the opportunity to have diverse speakers. And somehow, each and every one of the speakers says something to the effect of the troubles and the challenges we have in West Africa. So Hare Krishna is helping us, and we hope that we can learn from all these wonderful advice we're getting from our beloved devotees, our uncles, sometimes our gurus. So Prabhuji, thank you so much. But I just wanted to let you know that what you spoke today, and specifically the answer to my question, answers lots of the questions and the doubts that some of us have been having in the West African region. And I'll say thank you so much for making yourself a via medium for this treasure of wisdom to come through you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sadi Prabhu, for your question and appreciation for the answer. Thank you very much, Kripanidhi Prabhu, for the beautiful answer. There are devotees. Yes, other question. Yes, Govinda Prabhu, please, kindly ask a question.
Thank you, Salika Prabhu. Prabhu, my respectful obeisances to you and my obeisances to the wonderful devotees on the platform. Prabhu, my question is, we're speaking of the devotees being a movement for 40 years, 50 years, and for some reason, they go back. They leave the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. It's very, very unfortunate. But you've given a very nice explanation as to why this unfortunate situation could happen to people and to any one of us. And that we should be very, very diligent. We should be very careful so that we don't fall into such trap of unfortunate situations. But my question is, Prabhu, what advice will you give? When Narada Muni saw Krishna, and Krishna told him that you will not see me again in this lifetime. Sometimes some devotees, we all have different levels of understanding, different levels of faith in our practices in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes people come to the movement with understanding that they will see the spiritual world after 1 month. Say the chanting is so powerful, I will see Krishna in 1 year. And then they keep on chanting, and nothing happens. There's no experience. They want to have a vision of the spiritual world. They want to have the vision of heavens, see the demigods, and see the sages. And that will maybe give more appetite, more faith for such level devotees to stay in the movement. But nothing of such is happening. Just another money. So Krishna once, and Krishna told him, "You will never see me again." So what advice will you give to devotees of this caliber? That devotional service is patient like a pregnant woman. Once you take a seat, become pregnant, you have to wait. The baby will not come one day. You have to wait for 9 months. And then after the 9 months, then the baby will come out. So what advice will you give us so that we can have such faith and then have that patience to stay and continue to chant?
Thank you, Prabhu, for that question and reflection. And I think you mentioned the word patience. And that's given by Rupa Goswami as well. It's a Nischayad there yet. So Nischayad means patience. We come to the movement and we have this huge,
Keep going.
Force, enthusiasm there. And yes, we discovered the absolute truth and God is alive and well and all this, right? And then we realize that things level off and become quite routine. And that's where the danger of boredom comes in, or a little bit of despondency comes in. But if daily we try to do something for Prabhupada and Guru or gurus, daily keep our foot on the gas. Don't take your foot off the gas. Cruise control. We have to keep thinking, I'm a new devotee. I'm a neophyte. I'm new. And keep that spirit of enthusiasm and coupled with married to patience. And always think that I'm not I haven't come to any advanced stage. This is very dangerous. Devotees, I've been in the movement 30 years. I was a temple president. Don't you know who I am? And this desire for respect and social position because I've been in for so long and I still haven't seen Krishna. Krishna hasn't, shown up. What's going on, No, that's not the idea. No. Lord Chaitanya told one devotee. George said, you will get my mercy in a million lifetimes. And he started dancing in ecstasy in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So your point is that sincerity has to be a moment-to-moment commitment, not that I was sincere. I was on rocket fuel when I joined. I was young. I had a great passion for serving Prabhupada's movement, mission. And oh my God, I've been in this for 25 years. Why haven't I come to the stage of Raganuga Bhakti yet? Why isn't Krishna giving me the taste that I'm after? No. Every day there's a taste. We simply have to focus carefully on the holy name. Go deep within the holy name. That is the backbone of our spiritual life. If we start becoming inattentive or becoming familiar with the holy name, which is a person, the holy name is a person. So we have to pray to the holy name with gratitude and appreciation every single name that we chant every single day, and focus on that. Don't get distracted. A lot of devotees are, I got to get my 16 rounds done so I can do my service. Excuse me? Yeah, it's almost, what did you say? That is the main service. If you don't have a deep love for the holy name, a deep appreciation, if you don't go deep into hearing and chanting, you haven't really gotten your 16 rounds done. Your mind's been all over the universe. And oh yeah, now my service is serving, management. So that's very important. And I got the rounds done, it was a big struggle. Nish, nish, hari, 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 nish, nish, nish. This kind of attitude is very dangerous, but it is quite common in our society. Very common. So we have to focus on the basics, on the foundational ingredients of our devotional service. Do not take for granted Krishna, who has appeared to us in the age of Kali in the form of his holy name. And enthusiasm comes from strong program and also try to help the fallen souls. Prasadam distribution, kirtan, public kirtan, and book distribution. That will enthuse us a lot. So both things are there, Pancharachika Vidhi and Bhagavad Vidhi. They're both sides of the railway track, 2 tracks. Have to continue trying to help the souls who are completely in darkness. We have to remember every day, millions of people are dying, and every day millions of people are taking birth here on this planet. And when those millions of people have died, did they get prasadam? Did they get the holy name? Did they get Prabhupada's words? That will help them. That will help them from the clutches of Yamaraj. So that's my realization. I mean, like you say, it's enthusiasm, patience, and determination are the 3 requirements given by Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrita. So that's the best probably I can offer. I hope it's put through some light on the question, your question, Prabhu. Keep going. Don't take your foot off the gas pedal. Don't put it on cruise control. You have to keep, pushing yourself 110%, 150%. Don't be satisfied with 100%. Keep going, because Lord Chaitanya wants to benedict us with pure love of God. That is what we hear. Lord Chaitanya, he just benedicted people who were totally unqualified with love of God, love for Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, love of God. He's trying to give it to us, you know, and slowly but surely, it's developing within us. Not an easy process.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I
It's
always love to hear you speak. You speak right from your heart, and I know it's all coming from Super Soul because you made yourself available for the Lord to use you to help the conditioned souls. Thank you so much. But
thank you, Prabhuji.
if there's
Always
time,
nice to see you in your vehicle.
I'm not in my truck today.
Oh, okay.
If there's time, I would like to ask one more question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We had a very, very nice, beautiful, and powerful program yesterday that the devotees speaks about gratitude, and a lot of devotees shared their heart on this platform yesterday. And as I was listening to each and every devotee, I was getting deeper and deeper and deeper love, respect, and also appreciation for these devotees sharing. And then I was thinking to myself that we are talking of gratitude, just like conditioned soul try to describe the qualities of a great devotee, a pure devotee. It's very, very difficult because we are so insignificant. So looking at what, particularly myself, if I look back to where I was like 40 years ago, before joining the movement, my level of consciousness then, my association, my way of eating, my way of recreation, you see, I mean, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine what Srila Prabhupada and the disciples has given to me. I didn't know anything about reincarnation. I did not know anything about myself and my body. I was just like an animal in the jungle, just eating, sleeping, and defending, mating. I thought that was life, like everybody else doing today. So I was in, Agyana Tremendasya Gyana Gyana Salakaya Chakshu Ominitam Yena Tasma Sri Guru Namaha. I was in total darkness. And by the mercy of my spiritual master, he has brought me into the light. How can I show my appreciation to my spiritual master? What can I do? I did not know anything about the spiritual world, about the demigods and the sages and the heavens and the apsaras and Siddharas and Vaikunta, Goloka, Vrindavan, and Krishna. I didn't know anything about this. It's through the mercy of my spiritual master. Now I come to have a little knowledge about all these things. How can I show my appreciation? So, Prabhu, my question to you is, a person who has brought me to this level, how can I show my appreciation to him? What can I do? Is there anything specific that I can do to show my appreciation. It's a very difficult for me. Yesterday, devotees were sharing, and I was just thinking to myself. So, can you help, please?
So the first thing is, we were all book distributors, and Prabhupada kept stressing book distribution every time we saw him. And one the book distributor, a big famous book distributor, put his head up Prabhupada, and he wanted to extract from Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? And he expected Srila Prabhupada to say, distribute my books. And what happened was, Prabhupada looked at him and he said, if you fall in love, if you love Krishna, that is the most pleasing thing to the spiritual master. And we're all book distributors sitting there. And we suddenly realized that there's various instructions. But the main thing, what makes Krishna very happy, and the acharyas and the guru, is that we, in this lifetime, perfect our lives, develop even a slight affection for the Lord and his holy name. That would be just a little affection. That's called a Shakti. Get to a point where we know, okay, we're going to make it. And it doesn't matter what situation I'm in. I could be a sannyasi, I could be a grihasta, I could be whatever it is, whatever situation. But the process, regardless of your situation, how you can please your spiritual master is go deeper and deeper into this understanding that Krishna wants us to love him. And this holy name is it's the goal, it's also the vehicle. And the more we become attached to him through his holy name, the more will this lotus within our heart, this desire to love him. And of course, there's so many different elements there. We have to avoid all the unwanted anarthas, all unwanted habits and wanted thoughts. All this stuff we have to be thinking of all the time. How am I behaving properly with devotees? Am I dealing nicely with the public? Am I controlling the mind from the ego? The ego is full of arrogance and so on, and special pride and all this. So all these things are part of that. And Bhakti Devi, she only comes, and that's the love for Krishna. The Bhakti Devi will come and manifest in our hearts. That is what pleases the spiritual master ultimately. I've seen so many famous devotees, big devotees, opened up temples and made thousands of devotees and distributed millions of books, published beautiful books. But because they forgot the most important element, am I developing my love for Krishna and Guru? Am I every day feeling some real attachment to the spiritual master, to Prabhupada, to Guru, to Krishna also, his holy name? That keeps us going, and that pleases the spiritual master. At the same time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has told us that we have many spiritual masters, not just, the one who gave me Diksha. He says in one song that I take Diksha from one guru, but I take Shiksha from many gurus, and they're more important. They're more effective. There's a song in the songbook like this than the Diksha guru. He's saying that. Our movement is a Shiksha movement. And so what I saw in my years is that Diksha gurus came, many of them fell down, but you can always take shelter of Shiksha gurus. And of course, Srila Prabhupada is the overriding Shiksha guru of everyone. So we have to develop a very deep relationship with Srila Prabhupada because he's given us everything. He is really the one who has given us everything. And it's his potency that made this movement happen. It's his potency. And the danger is if Prabhupada said there'll be many thousands of Diksha gurus, but it's all the potency of these great acharyas that's making things happen. Prabhupada's words, he says, Krishna was dictating to me all the words. So Krishna's speaking through Prabhupada to this person or to us. Pure love of God, pure prema. Krishna is not different from Bhakti. Bhakti, prema, God, Guru, in a sense, it's all absolute. So when you say pleasing Guru, we also want to please our Shiksha Gurus. Shiksha Guru could be a neophyte devotee who's very humble, washing pots in the kitchen. And we think, wow, I've always been, thinking I'll just sit down and receive prasadam. Why don't I get up and serve prasadam to the new devotees? Like this, keeping the mind in a humble state is very important because that's what Bhakti Devi likes to see. And she'll manifest within our hearts. So I hope that helps. I mean, I try to show gratitude to devotees who I associate with, and I see them. Each devotee has a very positive quality, a talent, something that's inspiring to me, and I look at that and I go, this person is a guru for this quality. This person is a guru for this quality. And I don't harbor on his faults, because we all have faults. And when we look at faults, we're actually reflecting our own faults. That's what fault finding is. You're reflecting your own faults and you're caught in a trap. Oh, anyway,
Thank you.
I hope, I hope that helped.
Thank you very, very much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Govinda Prabhu, for the beautiful question. Thank you, Kripanidhi Prabhu, for the beautiful answer. We have Srimad Varacharya Prabhu's hand up, and I think this is going to be the last question for today. Hare Krishna, Srimad Varacharya Prabhu, please can you unmute? And let's have your question or comment. Srimad Varacharya Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Salika Prabhu. Please accept my obeisances, Kripanidhi Prabhu. We are grateful for your presence, being the first person to address this forum this year. So I think Krishna decided to be like this so that we can bear out of our mind. Yeah, in your last comment, you said something that kind of pricked me. I've heard it several times. And I always, think about this. Well, first thing is that when we joined this movement, we were told many things, which gradually started changing. We had a kind of philosophy that inspired so much faith in the beginning, but along the line, it's like the truth started getting adjusted according to whatever was happening. So I'll give you an example. So when we joined, we heard that Guru never falls. The Guru can never fall down.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not finished. So then along the line, some people acting the position of the Guru had some fall down. And then the philosophy kind of changed. So now we say it openly, publicly, everywhere, that the guru had fallen down. Like it was never taught in this society before that guru never falls. Now, why that kind of makes a difference to me is because our African tradition is a bit similar. Of course, it's derivative from the Vedic tradition. So in the African tradition, the guru, the king, the Maharaj, is also the guru. It's also the first person in the spiritual hierarchy. So it is an offense if if the king dies or anything, to go and say the king is dead. You don't say that. Because according to the tradition, it never dies. To say that the king is dead is to promote anarchy, that there's no longer custodian of the principles and the rules.
Excuse me a sec, Prabhu. Excuse me. Prabhu, I'm getting a lot of feedback from your sound system. It's distorted quite a bit.
No, it's
So
the fan. It's the fan. Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
Now it's better, yeah. Now it's definitely.
That's the fan. I'm sorry about that. Sorry. So yeah, like I was saying, that in the African tradition,
That's much better.
Yeah, the African tradition is a derivative of the Vedic tradition. And in the African tradition, the king also is like the guru because he's the first spiritual authority. And it is against the tradition to say that the king is dead or the king or something happened to him. But you never say that, because saying that it promotes anarchy, to say that the custodian of the laws and the regulation has died or has misbehaved. You don't say that. So when we join, so we kind of warm up to the Vedic teachings because it sounds familiar to us. But along the line, now it becomes popular to say many gurus are falling, and gurus fell down. And what is the repercussion of that, or the consequences of that? But just like what the Africans fear, it's happening to our society, in the sense that now we say many gurus in the past, they've fallen down, they've started for many years, they fall down. And now people have very little faith in their guru. So now chant, and they don't care whether they chant their guru's pranam, because now they believe all these gurus can fall, only Prabhupada is Bhagavad. So anyway, I'm beginning to wonder if we know the kind of damage that is going on with this every time changing, the teachings and the philosophy. And just to conclude, it's not that to say that some gurus never haven't fallen, but I still believe that the teaching, the philosophy that we were taught in the beginning was actually true, and it still stands correct, because the position of the guru remains eternal and servant of God, and anyone, etc., etc. You know better than me, Prabhu. You know what I'm about to say. So I'm just trying to say that I think we're doing some damage to our teachings, because it's having a mind of people, even though we don't know it. And it has changed even ISKCON, Guru Tattva to a greater extent, the way devotees behave now compared to the way they behaved before to their guru. So this is my worry. Maybe you can help me.
Well, in the fifth canto, there's the verse, Guru nasasyat swajano nasasyat, pita nasasyat, janani nasasyat, davam nasasyat napatisha sasyan, namochi adya sumupecha mityum. So in this verse, and throughout the Bhagavatam, it's describing that sometimes the guru becomes unqualified. In this verse, not only the guru, the father, Krishna says in the 17th chapter that the parents should be worshipped. That is called austerity in the mode of goodness. worship of God, worship of parents, worship of guru, and so on. There's a verse like that. So if the guru who is giving diksha falls down, we can pray for that person and give compassion. But we can't close our minds to the fact that one takes the vows, 4 regulative principles, and in front of the deity, in front of the fire. And if one takes the responsibility of giving initiation, one has to be very exemplary and very careful. Srila Prabhupada was in the situation, I was in the room when this discussion came up in Vrindavan. Prabhupada was leaving his body. And then the day after Prabhupada left his body, I was in the room with the GBCs and so on. And Prabhupada just had to continue on the Parampara system. So he gave 11 names, which we know, those devotees, Hamsaduta, Bhagawan, Hridayananda Maharaj, Bhavananda Maharaj, Jaipataka, all these different personalities, Jaitirtha, who were running the movement. And they had difficulties. In the 5th chapter of Upadeshamrita, it's describing in the purport that one can take initiation from a Kanishta Adhikari. Now it's described that a Kanishta Adhikari, he sees only the deity in the temple. He doesn't see the Lord in everyone's heart. He is on the Prakrita platform. Although he's a 3rd-class devotee, he can initiate. There it says one can take initiation, but one should know that he can't make a lot of spiritual advancement. That's there in the Upadeshamrita. I believe it's the 5th chapter, but it's in there. I believe it's the 5th chapter, 5th one. So we have to look at reality. The reality is that we have many Shiksha gurus, and we also have Srila Prabhupada as the umbrella acharya. And we have to be given the opportunity. If I'm a guru, like I know a lot of my god brothers very closely, and when they initiate, they say, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. Now, that doesn't mean he's a Ritvik. He's a guru. He's giving the diksha. He's connecting you to the acharyas, the great acharyas. Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gorkashore. These are all great, great, great devotees who are living in the spiritual world, even here on the material platform, on the material plane. So the guru has to be transparent to the acharyas. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that we have more than one Shiksha guru, and these Shiksha gurus have to also be given great importance. That's there in his song. He's saying the Diksha guru gives you initiation, and he can also be a Siksha guru, but there are many other Shiksha gurus who give you inspiration and strength. So this movement is very much like that. Try to remember that Prabhupada left in 1977. Most of the gurus were in the movement maybe 10 years, maybe 11 years. And before that, I'm from that environment in the Americas. We were all hippies. A hippie means, Prabhupada said, no principles, no rules and regulations, not even marriage. You just engage in crazy sense gratification, intoxication, real animalistic life. That's the kind of people that joined Prabhupada, the most fallen. Now Prabhupada's trying to keep the movement and going and having devotees and the movement spreading and expanding. And he appoints persons who have been in the movement 10, 11 years. They weren't born in a Vaishnava family somewhere in Nadia district. Some of them, Gaur Govinda Maharaj was, and we can see what an exalted, more advanced Raganuga Bhakta devotee he is. Anurag Bhakti. So great. But Prabhupada is trying to create this movement out of zero, out of darkness. And he appointed devotees who had problems, who were initiating, but they struggled. We can't take that as an excuse to disrespect the current gurus who are in good standing. That's a justification. I'm rationalizing my envy or my weakness or my desire to be complacent or not serious. We can do that. We can always find excuses not to be serious. Oh, look at this. These gurus probably going to fall down. No, not like that. We have to remain in a very humble position. And this is the system. The system is given in the Upadeshamrita. You accept Diksha and you get enrolled in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. That's very important. By a living person, a living guru. Respect has to be there, even if a person has struggles. But Prabhupada also said that I gave sannyas. This is in the 8th canto with Gajendra. And he said, many of the boys that I gave sannyas were not qualified. And Prabhupada in 1976 stopped giving sannyas. But he said, always said, don't go away. Get yourself into a grihasta situation and continue spreading the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So he gave sannyas, which was quite risky for people from the Western American culture, which is extremely hedonistic, very hedonistic, very materialistic environment in the Western world, America, these places where I lived. So we were brought up in a very hedonistic environment, and now we're taking sannyas. And Prabhupada said it's obvious that they weren't qualified. But Gajendra, he took shelter of Lord Vishnu, and he took shelter on the land where he was strong. So the Prabhupada compares that to taking shelter of the Grihastha ashram. After all, many great acharyas have been Grihastas. And it even states that in Kali Yuga, or sacrifice, cow sacrifice, taking sannyas, impregnating one's sister-in-law, these things are forbidden. But Prabhupada gave sannyas to spread the mission, to spread the movement. So we can't use the weaknesses as a rationalization for not respecting someone who is giving Diksha and is in good standing. And he's connecting us to the great Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, which, predicted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. A great, great personality will appear and take this movement beyond the shores of India. Srila Prabhupada. Extremely empowered, extremely empowered. So we all have Srila Prabhupada. We all have Srila Prabhupada. And it's his books. Everyone, all the gurus, doesn't matter who they are, GBCs, we are studying Prabhupada's books as the core source of spiritual advancement, spiritual life, Srila Prabhupada's purports. That is the emphasis in ISKCON. Prabhupada said, books are the basis. He said, my books will be the law books for 10,000 years. So many quotes by Prabhupada. This is Prabhupada in his Vani form. And it's, like he says, Krishna wrote these books. Krishna dictated to him. So it's a very powerful thing. And that is shiksha, that is instruction. The purports are the instruction. So, unfortunately, Prabhupada also said that when the great acharyas leave the planet, chaos ensues, just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. After he left, he was very disappointed with the direction that his followers were taking. The Gaudiya Math were fighting over properties and this and that, and who's the next acharya, We know the history. So these things are to be expected when the great acharyas disappear from our view, that there will be some, some problems, some chaos, but we have to keep going. We have to put our deep faith in the great acharya, Srila Prabhupada. He said, ISKCON is my body, not different from me. He created it. He says, the BBT is my heartbeat, and the books are my blood flow, my circulation. Books are the basis. Preaching is the essence. Utility is the principle. And one more. Purity is the force. So the mind can give us all kinds of different off-track opportunities to go off track. And people will, oh, well, I don't respect gurus, they're going to fall down. You don't know that. We don't know what Lord Chaitanya's plan is. No one expected that Srila Prabhupada, Abai Babu, who was a householder and a pharmacist running a pharmacy, would become the great acharya. So many of Bhaktisiddhanta's disciples were, staunch sannyasis, were sent to Europe, sent to England, did nothing. We don't know who Krishna is going to empower. We can't think that we know what tomorrow brings in the Hare Krishna movement. We cannot predict that. But we know that Lord Chaitanya, he's God, and he is directing this movement day by day, step by step. And he's looking to see who is the most sincere. God's in our heart, and we can't be duplicitous. If in our heart we have hidden agendas, hidden motives, and externally we're, oh, Prabhu, I'm your servant, I'm this, I'm that. Krishna's in your heart. Super soul's in your heart, and he's, okay, you want something material, or you want this, or fame, and it's duplicity. So that Krishna is going to see who is the most sincere, who's the most transparent, who's non-duplicitous, who is non-envious, like this, who's free from all these things. That's the person that Srila Prabhupada was. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, don't bother him. He'll do everything in due course of time. Prabhupada said, Bhaktisiddhanta said that about Srila Prabhupada, the householder, who was, not one of the big, lieutenants of Bhaktisiddhanta. So we don't know what the plan is, but we know that Lord Chaitanya has predicted that the Sankirtan movement will spread like wildfire all over the world for 10,000 years. That we know. We know that. That's God himself came here, not his prophet, not his Messiah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead came here 500 plus years ago himself. And he's empowering different people, different personalities to spread his mission. And we can't tell we can't assume that we know how it's going to do, what's going to happen, how it's going to spread. So we just have to keep our mind under control.
Thank you so much, Kripanidhi Prabhu. What a beautiful way to round up this class. Books are the basis. No one knows Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's plan. This is powerful. And I want to take this away as we round up this Bhagavatam class today. Thank you very much for giving us a wonderful memory and lessons on the very first day of the year 2026. Like Sahadev said, Krishna has a powerful way of always creating the opportunity, as it said in the purport of today's verse, that Krishna helps his devotees. And that's where Srila Prabhupada rounded up the purport of today's verse. Krishna knew what we needed, and then he made you an instrument to come before us to give us this dosage to guide us through the year 2026. And in appreciation, we are also praying that Krishna will continue to empower you to continue to share to us, the younger generation, so that we can have the direction to go for that in Srila Prabhupada's movement. So on this note, I want to thank all of the devotees who have made it to this class, and I'm sure you all have benefited in one way or the other way. So it is on that note that we'll be rounding up to this class by expressing a deep appreciation for our spiritual uncle, Kripanidhi Prabhu, for this wonderful class today. I will request all of the devotees in our usual start to kindly unmute themselves and let us loudly chant a powerful Hare Krishna mantra to express appreciation to Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare.
Panchakapata His Grace Kripanidhi Prabhu ki Jai.
Please have
Prabhupada ki Jai. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
May you
Thank
all develop your Krishna consciousness in 2026. You all develop your love for the holy name. Hari Bol.
Hare